Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Reflections for Life podcast. This is Joel Sedo, your host. The subject today is failing the mission, the sin of omission, and the great commission we ignore. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about something many Christians overlook. Not the sin we commit, but the sins we omit. And specifically, the one omission that may be the biggest in the modern church, not obeying the Great Commission. Let's dive in. Number one, what is the sin of omission? Most of us think of sin as doing something wrong, lying, stealing, hurting others. But the Bible also talks about the sins we commit by not doing something. James 4:17 says, anyone who knows the good he ought to do and doesn't do it sins. That's the sin of omission. Neglect, silence, inaction. Sometimes the greatest sin is what we fail to do. Number two, Jesus' final command was not optional. Right before Jesus ascended into heaven, He didn't give us a suggestion. He gave us a command. Matthew 28:19-20. Go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything I commanded you. This wasn't a command to pastors only, or preachers, or missionaries only. It was given to every believer. But today, most Christians rarely speak about Jesus outside their church walls, and that silence is disobedience. Number three, why not sharing the gospel is a sin of omission? Think about Paul's question in Romans 10:14. How will they believe in him of whom they have not heard? If we stay silent, there are people who may never hear the message of salvation. That's why Paul said, woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. 1 Corinthians 9:16. And Jesus added a warning in Mark 8:38. If anyone is ashamed of me and my words, I will be ashamed of him. Silence is not humility. Silence is omission, and omission is sin. Number four, the excuses we make and how God answers them. Now let's be honest. Christians don't ignore the Great Commission because they hate God. We ignore it because of our fear, comfort, or excuses. Let me share a few common ones. Excuse one, I'm not good at speaking. God told Moses in Exodus 4:12, I will be with your mouth and teeth, and teach you what you shall say. Excuse two, I don't know enough Bible. Jesus said in John 14:26, the Holy Spirit will teach you all things. Excuse 3, my faith is private. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. If we hide our faith, we are not following Christ. We are hiding from Him. What happens when we stay silent? The Bible is crystal clear about the consequence of staying quiet. In Ezekiel 3:18, God says, if you do not warn the wicked, I will require your blood at your hand. That's heavy. It means our silence affects someone else's eternity. We are not responsible for saving people. That's God's work. But we are responsible for speaking. 6. Obedience isn't complicated. Here's the good news. God doesn't require us to be perfect. He just asks us to be willing. Isaiah 6:8. Sharing the gospel can be a testimony, a simple prayer, a Bible verse online, a conversion or conversation with a friend, a life that reflects Jesus. 1 Peter 2:12 says, people can see our good works and glorify God because of it. Evangelism isn't about being eloquent. It's about being obedient. 7. Time to return to the mission. Jesus told us what He expects us to be doing until He returns. Matthew 24:14. This gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world, and then the end will come. If we want revival, if we want spiritual awakening, if we want to honor Jesus, we must stop treating the Great Commission as the great suggestion. Because when we ignore the mission, we commit the sin of omission. But when we obey it, heaven rejoices. In closing, thank you for joining me today. If this message challenged you, share it with someone who needs encouragement. Let's help each other follow Christ, because the world won't hear the gospel if we don't speak. Until next time, stay faithful, stay bold, and remember, the mission is still the mission. Thank you.